When you retire, you may get a chance to go to football heaven. This is football heaven.
Hey guys, welcome to The Mission. I'm your host, Shamir Howardson, and as always, we have a great show for you. Today, we're going inside the training room. That's right, as we continue to celebrate the excellence of this year's honorees for the Award of Excellence. Today, it's all about talking to the men that revolutionized sports medicine. And to help me break down and learn how this list was formed of athletic trainers, joining me today from the the defending Los Angeles Super Bowl champions, is the Vice President of Sports Medicine and Performance, Mr. Reggie Scott, is joining us right here on The Mission. Reggie, welcome to The Mission, sir.
Thank you, Jameer. I appreciate you. It's exciting to be here this morning.
Reggie, thank you so much for your time. Today, I want our viewers and listeners, I want you guys to take us into the training room. I mean, you and your colleagues are how can I say, are responsible for so many NFL careers. When it comes to guys getting injured, I mean, along with thanking their family members for the support staff, you guys are on the front line because you're kind of like putting these guys back together piece by piece. And there's so many pioneers, and the game has been revolutionized through sports medicine. So before we dive in and talk about this year's class, let's talk about the award, and I want to get your reflections on what this award means to you.
Oh, this is a milestone for athletic trainers. It really is, and I think you saw it really, really well when you talk about the profession of athletic training. It's about being the ultimate caregiver. I mean, you're talking about truly the hub of player health and safety in this great game called the NFL. You look over the years and the evolution of player health and care, and it really has become the forefront of the NFL today. I mean, you look at so many different initiatives that happen over the years, and it really birthed out of the athletic training room, right? It's us providing the optimal environment to really allow these guys to go out there and do what they love to do. And as you know, Jameer, this game is a pretty tough game, and things happen. These guys get hurt, they have injuries, and I think the athletic training, the relationship between the player and the athletic training is something over the years that we've seen that's been a staple in this game. And then when you start going back to when we talk about some of these originals to truly be the trendsetters in player health and safety. And I don't think we would be here today when you talk about all the great things we're doing to take care of these guys if it wasn't for these wonderful men we're going to talk about today in terms of being setting the stage for us. So it's a huge, huge piece. I'm excited to be a part of this profession as being the president this year of PFAS and honoring this for the first year, the inaugural year. It's a blessing for me to be a part of this and really excited about it.
Reggie, I look at the list of trainers, your committee, and man, I mean, I see Pepper Burris, one of the guys who has a young kid working for the Jets in the equipment room. He was the number 2 guy then under Bob Reese, and then he moves on to go to be the man at Green Bay. But I'm saying all this to say, I'm looking at this list and I do not envy you because you guys had to put this first class together, and I know a lot went into it. But what was the criteria of building this inaugural class? What was you guys looking for?
Jameer, when you're talking about trying to select this inaugural class, it was not easy. And how it started was we kind of developed a selection committee of senior members, i.e. Pepper Burris and I know you know Greek Antonopoulos, and I think a lot of future Hall of Famers in the future for sure, along with a committee ran by Justin Merritt, who's an assistant athletic trainer at the New York Giants, who did a fabulous job of really developing this, but took a committee of some athletic trainers that are currently in the NFL with this senior committee and really developed a robust, call it selection process to make sure that we're honoring these people, but that is something that's truly a great honor. And we wanted them to kind of go through this robust system and let it filter out to who the best would be. I mean, you're talking about stuff of, giving back to the profession of athletic training. You're talking about being part of various committees and being part of the various research and publications to help the game move forward. You're talking about just what did you do for the Professional Football Athletic Training Society in terms of being on various executive committees there, and on and on and on. And really at the end of the day, which was really special, is the interview process, talking to various teams and talking to what these people meant to their teams. And it's really eye-opening to see how special it was.
Well, Reggie, I'm gonna let you take it away. You have the honors of introducing us to this year's honorees of the athletic trainers.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Well, we'll start with the Oakland Raiders, right? And George Anderson. From 1960 to 1994, he was an athletic trainer for the wonderful Oakland Raiders. And it's funny, a lot of people, when you do a little interview about George, he was like the swag of athletic training back in the day. He truly was. He wore his sunglasses. He really made athletic training cool. But more than that, he gave so much to the profession. He was honored, obviously, as an athletic trainer, inductee into our National Athletic Trainers Association Hall of Fame. Really cool about George Anderson, one neat nugget for him was he was an inventor. He made a product called the Anderson knee brace, which was a knee brace that, young Reggie, when I got in the profession, I would go back into the storeroom and I'm like, what is this Anderson knee brace? And it was invented by George Anderson to help stabilize the knee. So just something that simple and something really giving back to the profession. George was a wonderful man and really was a staple for our profession. Then you move on to Otho Davis, who worked with the Baltimore Colts from 71 to 72, and then the head athletic trainer for the Philadelphia Eagles from 1973 to 1995. And I will say, as we go through these guys, you'll see their long tenure says a lot about them, because athletic training is not easy. And you're talking 30 plus years for all these guys. That says a lot about who you are as a person in terms of wanting to caregive for them those many years. But Otho Davis of the Philadelphia Eagles, absolute standard for athletic training early in the 70s, for sure. One cool thing about Otho Davis is our National Athletic Trainers Association, which is our national body, 30,000 plus athletic trainers. He was one of the first executive directors of the NATA. And really, a lot of the NATA and the foundation NATA has came from him. Wow. He was one of the first true presidents, which is so cool. And so I think here's a person that not only to give to his profession in the NFL, but globally, the profession of athletic training wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Otho Davis. Cool thing about Otho Davis, too, is he's actually a guy that you've seen on the early ballots of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, of how instrumental he was to the game. And so Otho Davis was such a wonderful man. And once again, another inductee to the National Athletic Trainers Hall of Fame. And now obviously into the PFAS Hall of Fame and going into the Award of Excellence for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Johnny O, as we call him, from 1967 to 2008. You're talking about a long time. When I got into the profession, he was still doing his job, and he started in 1968, way before I was even born. And you talk about, if I had to give one word for who Johnny O is, the ultimate caregiver. Wow. I mean, a heart of gold, Jameer. Personally, me coming into the profession, he wrapped his arms around me. He taught me so much. He stops and speaks to you. He cares about you, actually, as your family doing. And I know those players felt that for 40 plus years when he was with the Arizona Cardinals. You talk to all of his ex-players, and I think one of the big things for him getting into the Hall of Fame, he was a true person that the players, the Arizona Cardinals, when you hear them talk about Johnny O, you realize how much he did for them personally. And that's the essence of what we are. As much as it's important for us to get athletes back on the field from ACLs, as much as it is to get these guys available for games, at the end of the day, they're humans. At the end of the day, it's about the person. And Johnny O was the epitome of that. He gave so much to the profession. He won the Fame Kane Athletic Trainer of the Year Award, Ed Black Courage Award as a staff, and many other awards. And Johnny O will always be remembered as a staple. Then you got Jerry Ray. Jerry Ray was with the Los Angeles Rams from 67 to 68, and then the head athletic trainer for Atlanta Falcons from 1969 to 1994. And you talking about a awesome guy, witty, smart, fun guy. I can tell he was a blast in the athletic training room. And some of the dark days of training camp, I'm sure he was a guy that just uplifted the players, got them going, and got them through the day. And really cool thing too, the Atlanta Falcons just honored Jerry Ray by naming the athletic training room at the Atlanta Falcons the Jerry Ray Athletic Training Room.
Oh,
and that just happened a few weeks ago. So
wow,
really cool. Once again, you see the essence in the fabric of where these guys live at within their respective teams. But same thing with Jerry Ray. The cool thing about Jerry Ray, if I had to give a nugget with him, was almost on the Otho Davis standard. He was heavily involved in the profession of athletic training. Various district committees, various national committees, state committees, and on and on and on. Really big in education and moving in forefront in education. There's a lot of scholarships that are named after Jerry Ray in the Georgia Southeast area to give to kids to moving forward into the profession of athletic training. So here's another guy that even what's cool about a lot of these inductees, it's not just even what they did within the NFL, but what they did globally to help the profession of athletic training. And Jerry Ray's one of those. Obviously, he's in probably 3 or 4 various Hall of Fames within the athletic training profession. So now he's in the PFAS Hall of Fame and he's going to the Award of Excellence for you guys. So could be more excited about Jerry Ray. He'll be at the event. And I think if anybody has a chance to talk to him, he'll make you laugh in about 3 or 4 seconds. And then we got last but not least, Fred Zamberletti. Fred Zamberletti was the Minnesota Vikings once again, 1961 to 2001. I mean, that is just amazing. He was the head athletic trainer for the Vikings. He moved up to the coordinator of medical services. And how about this? When it was time for him to retire, they didn't want him to retire. It's like, hey, how can we keep you in this building? So he phased into almost like an ambassador for the Minnesota Vikings because they just wanted him around, and I think you're finding a common thread with all these inductees. They're great people. They're just great people. And that's one of the things that has inspired me. It's about the people and it's about who we are and how we treat people. And Fred Zamberletti is the epitome of that. Fred Zamberletti was also a physical therapist. So he was kind of the forefront of that. As you see more athletic trainers in physical therapy, dual credential today, he was doing that back in 1960s and 70s when that wasn't really popular, that he had 2 credentials. Not popular, sorry, wrong word. It's not that it was popular, it just wasn't seen.
Right.
And he was doing that. So his skills in terms of physical therapy and athletic training paved the way for a lot of us today doing being dual credentialed and really changing the game in the athletic training room. Same thing. He was also a athletic trainer of the year award, the Fane Kane Award for the whole NFL. He's given us so much in terms of the symposiums, starting a sports science symposium, physician symposiums, just really big in education too. So Fred Zamberletti is well remembered. And another last thing with Fred Zamberletti, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know the exact numbers, but he has one of the most longest tenured games on field without missing a game. I mean, it is, I don't even throw the number out there, but it's more than anybody probably in the athletic training profession and more than a lot of probably coaches and players in terms of, I think his first game miss was right towards the back end. I don't even know if he missed the game, Jameer, but it's an outstanding number and it might be a cool stat that we can find and highlight his, consistency and sustainability over time, which is really cool.
Wow. Well, congratulations to those men. And like I said, I do not envy the job that you and your colleagues had. But Reggie, I had to ask you this because I had the opportunity to speak to Mike Davison, who represented the equipment managers, Bill Keenis, who represented the public relations department. And I'm speaking to you, but we talked about the advancement of the game, of what it was like then opposed to now. But when you think of the athletic training department, and I'm hearing you talk about these men, it sounds like a lot of the work that they were doing back then is so relevant to now and the way you and your colleagues and generation are taking it to another level.
Oh, absolutely. I think they are the foundational piece to where we are today. And it really has advanced. I mean, between subspecialties, between model changing, between technology and education, player health and safety has immensely changed. But the staple and the foundation of who we are in caregiving did start with these people. And if it wasn't for these, wonderful men and so many other people in athletic training back in the day, I don't think we would be prepped or ready to take on this huge, quick advancement that's happened over the last 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
They pushed education. They pushed dual credentialing. They pushed us over the envelope. They pushed the envelope as much as they could back then to get us to where we are today. And you're exactly right, Jameer. It is continued to advance. And hopefully we can be the ones that continue to push this on.
And lastly, before I let you go, just overall, what did it mean to you and your colleagues? And I know you don't want to speak for anyone else, but is it safe to say that you can speak for them as far as what it meant for you guys to be a part of this process, working alongside the Pro Football Hall of Fame and your selection committee selecting this year's class?
It was an absolute honor. It's nothing like being able to celebrate your peers. It really is. And we couldn't be more excited to be a part of the Hall of Fame. When the Hall of Fame called us and asked us to do this, that they really want to honor some people, what they call behind the scenes in the NFL. I thought that was a wonderful thing that they did, and we were so honored to be a part of it. And for us as a professional football athletic training society, PFATS, to be alongside of this and develop our PFATS Hall of Fame for the first year and to honor these wonderful men. I'm not only just a highlight of one of my highlights of my career, but a highlight of so many people's career in the PFAS profession today and athletic trainers. And obviously, too, the biggest thing is it's probably inspiring for a lot of these young athletic trainers that are coming in to inspire maybe to one day be a part of the Awards of Excellence. So really, really neat deal. So honored, Jameer, to be a part of this. Thank you so much to the PFAS Hall of Fame. PFAS Pro Football Hall of Fame, and obviously the PFATs. For being, it was a lot of work for putting all the work in and to get to this point.
Well, Reggie, I know you're busy defending Super Bowl champion. I mean, how's that going? How's mini camp and stuff? How's the vibe? Because I know it's like you guys went through that season, but you're coming back and it's like you got to ramp back up again. How's the energy in and around the locker room?
It was awesome. I always tell people football heaven is real when you get a chance to win a championship. So I'm really blessed to be a part of that. And it was there's a long season, extra game, Jameer, kind of getting on to the end, and we got to the Super Bowl. 2 weeks later, we're at the combine, and so it's a very different process going into it this year. But the guys came back; they're hungrier than ever. They had a great off season. Coach McVay got everybody focused on 2020, call it 2, and we celebrated, we enjoyed it, but we're moving forward because we know every season's a new season, and we're fired up and excited. We got a great locker room, we got great guys. And we're looking forward to the opportunity to continue to move forward.
Well, congratulations on that, sir. And thank you so much, Reggie, for joining us right here on The Mission and just helping us understand these great men. And we can't wait to honor them at the end of this month right here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys doing that.